Hello students. Today I'll begin with unit 2 of the essay Student Mobs by J.B. Priestley. We live in a curious age. So he begins the second unit by stating that the present age in which they are living, it's a curious age. We are offered glimpses of a genuine world civilization slowly emerging. The UN, special agencies, organizations like Oxfam, and here and there, as I have seen for myself, remote enterprises dedicated to healing or education, with international staffs or selfless enthusiasts. Now, he's saying that we are living in a curious age, and often we get the glimpse of a developing and emerging world civilization. And the agencies like UN or other organizations like Oxfam. So these are simply indicating at the slowly emerging world civilization. Then there are remote enterprises which are dedicated to maybe medications or education. And then there are these institutions, organizations have international staff which render their selfless services, and they are so full of enthusiasm for humanity or for selfless services. And such glimpses warm the heart and brighten hope. And these are the incidences, these are the glimpses which actually give warmth to our heart and enhances our hope for a better future. But along with these are sights and sounds that suggest that the whole fabric of civilization, the work of centuries, is rapidly being torn apart. So there are two sides which he is talking about. On one hand, he's talking about the brighter side, where we can live with some hope for a bright future. But on the other side, he says that there are certain scenes and sounds and certain events which suggest that the entire setup of civilization, which has been worked upon for centuries, is actually being torn apart due to certain events, due to certain selfish interests of governments or political parties or maybe some other people. Two official policies clash, and instantly embassies, consulates, centers of information services are surrounded and then attacked by howling mobs of students, at once defying law, custom, usage. So he says that now he's talking about those incidences which hint at the turning apart of the world civilization. He says that if two official policies clash, there is a clash between two official policies, then what will happen? Immediately, embassies and consulates and the centers of information services, these are all surrounded and attacked by by student mobs. And these students are, what they are doing, they are defying, they are refusing, they are rejecting law, custom, and usages. Okay, so the students are working against law, and that this may not be merely so many hot headed lads escaping all control, that it may itself be part of government policy, mob antics as additional propaganda to deceive world opinion, makes our situation even worse. Now he says that it is not actually certain that the kind of attacks which are taking place, this is only due to the agitation amongst the lads, the young people or the young crowd, which are this crowd which is escaping all kind of legal controls. But there are chances that the government itself is playing a role behind it. They are hiring these mobs for the sake of propaganda to deceive the world opinion, and therefore the situation of the world civilization is actually deteriorating, and the conditions are becoming worse. It is as if we were all compelled to exist now in a sinister circus. It seems as if we all are being forced to survive in a kind of evil circus. No doubt governments have always been dishonest and hypocritical, but now it is beginning to look as if power mania is ready to destroy those long accepted forms and civilities that make international relations possible. So he says that there is no doubt that governments have always been dishonest and hypocritical. But looking at the present condition, it seems that this charm for power, this fascination for power is actually destroying, it is ready to destroy, to destruct all those long accepted forms, those civilities which are essential for international relations. The time may soon come when ambassadors will have to move around in tanks, and embassies and consulates will have to be fortified or abandoned. So he says that looking at the present scenario, it seems as if that time is approaching when the ambassadors will have to move in tanks, safety tanks, or and the embassies and consulates and these organizations will have to be fortified, or maybe they will have to be abandoned in order to prevent all these kinds of attacks. And perhaps students on admittance will be given machine guns and flamethrowers. And in the worst scenario, what will happen? When the students will be given admission in universities and colleges, what they will be given instead of books, they will be handed over machine guns and flamethrowers. There is something else just as bad, perhaps even worse, and evidence of it is amply supplied to us by TV cameras and mics. Now, there is something actually even worse than this particular scenario, and the evidences of this worse condition is actually available on the TV sets. What we see in these student faces illuminated by burning cars and bonfires of books is not the glow of political enthusiasm, but a frenzied delight in destruction. So this is the worst condition here he's talking about. He says that if we analyze and observe the faces of these students who are working in destructive mobs, they are shined up, they are illuminated by burning cars and bonfires of books. Now, this shine on their face is not due to some kind of political enthusiasm. No, they are not political enthusiasts, but it seems as if they are getting some kind of delight and pleasure, wild pleasure in destruction. So, by destroying the cars or the books, they get some kind of pleasure. So, it is not about political enthusiasm. Whatever country or party they may be demonstrating for or against, what really inspires them is an urge towards violent demolition. So it doesn't matter for which country or which party they are working for. They are carrying out these demonstrations and processions. For whom they are working or against whom they are working, it doesn't matter. What actually inspires them is this urge towards violent destruction and demolition. They don't know and may never know how to make anything worth having, but they need no courses on wrecking and destroying. So he says that the pathetic side of this is that they don't know and may never know that how they can acquire something which is worth acquiring. But it is very easy and they need no training for one thing, and that is wrecking and destroying. If degrees were given in window smashing, car overturning, furniture firing, they would all have them with honors. Okay, so if degrees were to be given on the basis of what kind of destruction students have caused, then they all will get degree of honors. They may still be weak in sciences and the arts, medicine and the law, but they already have firsts in hooliganism. What is hooliganism? Hooliganism is the violent behavior of youngsters who work in gangs. So he says that the students might be weak in all their faculties, whether it is science or arts or commerce or law or medicine. But when it is about hooliganism, they all would get first distinction. I doubt if some of them even know which side they are shouting for, their minds having abandoned the intricate and tedious arguments of politics as they joyfully contemplate the destruction of other people's property. So you say that I have some kind of doubt that these students do not have slightest idea that for whom they are shouting, because their minds have actually abandoned the intricate and tedious arguments of politics, because they only happily contemplate or think about the destruction of other people's property. So they are not thinking logically why they are doing these destructions, why they are working for for whom they are working and why they are doing all these things. What they are interested in is that how they can cause destruction to other people's property. What sort of doctors and lawyers and chemists and teachers of languages they will make, we cannot tell. So, what kind of teachers or chemists or lawyers or doctors they will turn out to be, we are not sure about that. But there should be no shortage of recruits with degrees of demolition squads and wrecking crews. So, if we talk about their future, we don't know whether they will turn out to be a good doctor, or lawyer, or engineer, or chemist. But yes, they will turn into, we can surely say that they will turn into a good destructive mob. Soon there may appear on many a campus those huge iron balls with which New York keeps knocking itself down. So he says that very soon it is possible that we can see that there will be huge iron balls in all the campuses with which New York keeps knocking itself down. It means, he says, that the New York government is indulged in self-destructive mode whenever it is about its own selfish interest. So those days are not far away when on many of the campuses we will see those huge iron balls which are meant for self-destruction. As a signal from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, out they will roll. So as a signal, uh, as soon as they get some kind of indication or signal from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, these iron balls will roll out in order to demolish any embassy before it is time for any evening seminars. So before things are planned out for some kind of peaceful seminars in the evening, if some selfish interest emerges in the minds of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, what they will do, these iron balls will roll out and demolish those embassies where evening seminars were to be organized. So that's all for the explanation of Unit 2. Thank you.